Hello team, welcome back to my GCE English Language exam series. We're still looking at the topics that comes in paper 2. Once we're done, that's when we'll go to question 2, topics that comes in paper 1. So this video is brought to you by the Lions Education, prepared by Mr. Bluelight, your English tutor. And in this presentation, we're going to be looking at direct and reported speech. Direct and reported speech. We're going to be looking at the simple rules to avoid common exam errors. A lot of students make some errors about when they are writing direct speech to reported speech. Now I'll give a guide how you're going to be able to do this in a simple way and avoid those common errors. So in GCE examination, sentence transformation frequently requires changing direct speech to reported speech. For one to be able to do that, they need to understand what a direct speech is and what a reported speech is. So a direct speech is basically exact words, exact spoken words with what? Quotation marks. A direct speech, they are exact words with quotation marks. And a reported speech is basically talking about what someone else said. That is a reported speech. Ladies are good at this. That's what their nature is all about. Ladies can understand this more than men can do. So let us look at the core strategy that I prepared for you that will help you to write correct sentences when you are rewriting a direct speech to reported speech. So let us look at the core strategy. Here is the core strategy, and the core strategy says that stepping into the past. So whenever you'll be rewriting a direct speech to a reported speech, just know this strategy, which is stepping into the past. Whatever that you're going to write in your reported speech is supposed to be in the past. One, I want us to think of reported speech as telling a story about the past. Once you do that, know that the words were already spoken earlier. The words were spoken earlier. Once you know that, know again to say there are three things that are involved, three things that are changing, that prompt what? A reported speech. One, the action moves one step backward. The action that was taking place in your direct speech will move backward in time. Secondly, the pronouns change to match who? The speaker. Pronouns are used here to match who? The speaker who said those words in direct speech. Lastly, the speech marks vanish completely. In reported speech, there are no speech marks involved. Once you add a comma in your reported speech, just know that you are writing a nonsense. Okay, since we know what things are involved here and what we're supposed to put in our mind as you are writing a reported speech, let us look now at the steps to follow when you are writing that reported speech. There are steps, obviously, and these steps will enlighten to us what our core strategy is talking about. Let's dive a little bit deep. So here are the 3-step transformation rules to help us to understand the core strategy of ours, which is stepping into the what? Into the past. So the first step is that you drop the speech marks. Remember what we talked about, our core strategy. Drop the speech marks. There are no speech marks involved in your what? Reported speech. So remove all quotation marks. Those of you who don't know quotation marks, these are quotation marks. Any word that you find quoted in these marks, just know that they are exact words. They are exact words. And commas separating the speaker. So a comma will be removed. Quotation marks will be removed. Do not involve these two in your reported speech. So after you're done that, you introduce a word that. You introduce the word that before you give a what? A reported statement. You understand about this later on. I'll talk about it. So after you've done this, 1, you've removed these speech marks. 2, you've introduced the word before a reported statement. The second step is change the pronouns. You change words like I, my, or we to which the person who actually spoke. If a person who spoke, it is John, you say he. If the person who spoke those words, it is Princess, you say she. If it is the group, you say what? They. Simple as that. Remember the core strategy. The second thing you do, you change the pronouns. After doing that, the last thing you're supposed to do, you step the tense backward, pointing where? To our core strategy, which is stepping into the past. So here you step the tense backward now. What do we mean by this? You move the main verb one step into what? Into the past at a time. So the main verb there, it's being moved into the past. What do we mean by this? If direct speech was in a present tense form, this present tense form, remember to say your reported speech is going to be in what? In a past tense form. And if the direct speech was in a past tense form, your reported speech is going to be in where? In past perfect what? Tense form. Let me show you what we're talking about. Since you've already done these 2 steps now, let me show you what is happening here. This is what is happening. So these are the quick tenses or word shifts that you are going to be observing. Take note of this. Take note of this. They might be of help during your exams. Take note of this. So a direct speech word, for example, we have is and we have these, as you can see, they're in present. Is doing this, is singing, I'm singing. So the past tense for these 2 used is what? Was. Simple as that. If he is singing, in the past will be he was singing. If I'm singing, I was singing. And the other example is are. If the direct speech word are is used, remember in your transformation in a reported speech, you will use were. Are dancing, because are is used when the subject is plural. Are you replace with what? Were. They are dancing, they were dancing. What about write or eat? Write becomes what? The past tense. What's the past tense of writing? It is what? The past tense of eat is ate. Simple as that. The next tenses we have, now let's look at the past. So if the direct speech, it has got action words that are in the past, like wrote or ate. Here you need to transform it to be in a past perfect, which is had written, had eaten. So wrote in past perfect becomes what? Had written. Don't just say written. Written pairs with what? Had. Because remember we are talking about past perfect. So had written, had eaten. Then will. Will becomes what? Will becomes would. I will do this. He would do that. Simple as that. So will becomes would. Because will, it is in the past, and when it is in the past, you convert it into a past perfect. So when here when now, when time, when today are being used, they are in direct speech and it is in the past. You are saying that there. So here becomes there. Now becomes then. Today becomes what? That day. This is where a lot of students get it to be confusing. But let me show you the examples. So here are the examples. What we were talking about. Here is what we were talking about. Example 1. Let's look at the present to past. A direct speech says, I am studying for my GCE exam. Who said this? Said the student. Remember, this is a direct speech. A direct speech, we said there are exact words in what? In quotation marks. Here are the quotation marks here. And after you've noticed that there are quotation marks, just know that this sentence is in a direct speech. And what else? We're having a comma here. Remember, in reported there are no commas and there are no quotation marks, but here we're having a comma. Just know that this sentence, it is a direct speech. Said who? Said the student. Now, for you to be able to rewrite this sentence into reported speech, you're supposed to remove this. You remove this speech marks, remain with this. So remember, always when you're writing a sentence, start with a capital letter. So our reported speech of this will be, the student said what? Or the student said that. Remember, when you've removed these quotation marks, the pronunciation what? We say that it is supposed to change. So when you remove this, what else are you adding? You are adding that for what? A reported statement, right? So before a reported statement comes what? That. So the student said that she, remember, she is a pronoun. Remember, we said that to change this, we need to add a pronoun, which is what? She, representing someone who said those words. So now, if you've noticed here in this sentence, we do not know whether this student was a male student or was a female student. So be careful with this again. Take note, if you don't know the gender, here on your answer, you're supposed to, there was just an error here. So in your answer, supposed to be, the student said that she, or, which is being presented by slash here. So the student said that she slash, slash he, then you continue, was studying for her. Remember, her is a pronoun of this student, which is I. Now we don't know who is I, if whether it's he or she. So you include them in your answers. The student said that she slash he was studying for her slash his GCE exam, like that. Once you've written like that, you've got your free mark here, and the examiners will mark you correctly. Let's look at this example 2, past to past perfect. So we say that when your direct speech is in the past tense, already in the past. Now here it's not in the present, it's in the past. You need to change that past to be what? A past perfect. So here's an example. In a direct speech, we have, we watched a great play yesterday. Remember, these marks are here, quotation marks, the commas, the speech marks are there. So now we're remaining with the boys shouted. So we watched a great play yesterday. The boys shouted. All these are exact words in what? In speech marks. So this is a direct speech. Obviously we know that. Now let's let us change this into a reported speech. Remember this just by looking at the action verb, the main action, the main verbs here, they are already in the past. So now, for you to be able to rewrite this, it's supposed to be in a past perfect. Those are the rules. Remember about our core strategy. Yes. So we watched a great play. Watched. We watched. Watched. It is in the past. So it is categorizing this sentence to be in the past. So we watched a great play yesterday. The time. Take note of the time. Yesterday. The boys shouted. Now let us rewrite this. We've removed these speech marks. We've removed them. Okay. Now we're remaining with this. So the boys shouted. Then we add what? We add the word that. Remember, that is always present, included as you are writing a reported speech. So the boys shouted that. What did they shout? The boys shouted that they is being changed originally from where? We. So we becomes what? They. So the boys shouted that they did what? They, which is being presented by here in direct speech is we, but this is being converted into what? They. Remember about pronouns, huh? They change. So they is a group actually here. So we becomes what? They. They did what? They watched a great play yesterday. Now here you say they had. Remember about what? Past perfect tense. They did what? So here it is already in the past, but we need to make this sentence to be in a past perfect. So we include what? Remember, had eaten, had given. Now a past perfect goes with had plus the verb, which will be like had watched. So the full sentence will be the boys shouted that they had watched a great play. What? Now we're remaining with time. Time. Yesterday, remember. Yesterday becomes what? A previous day. Always, like I said, remember to the what? Remember of our core strategy there. Time. The action verb moves one step backward. At what? At a time. So here, if this was yesterday, that yesterday will be a previous what? A previous day. The previous day. So the complete sentence will be the boys shouted that they had watched a great play. The what? The previous day. You can't say they had watched a great day yesterday. No, you say the previous day, because here whatever happened here action, we said, referring to our core strategy, we said we move what? We're stepping into what? Into the past. So here it's not happening. You can't say yesterday. You say previous day, because the actions and everything has already what? Past. You're just reporting. So yesterday becomes what? Previous day. Today becomes what? That day. That's how it works. So now let me give you a tip. These are tips that I prepared for you. So critical GCE exam tips here. Just take note of this. So time changes. Never overlook this as you are writing a reported speech. Time changes. So never leave a time word alone. Today, remember, becomes what? That day. And yesterday becomes what? The day before. So if your direct speech is saying today, remember this will become what? In your reported speech will become that day. If your direct speech has got yesterday, time is talking about yesterday, know that you must become the yesterday becomes what? The day before, or what? The previous day. So yesterday, if it is used in direct speech, just know that that one will be changed to the day before or the previous day. Simple as that. So no question marks are involved. No question marks are involved in your reported speech. The only punctuation that are there, it is the capital letter in beginning the sentence and the full stop when you are ending the sentence. No question marks. If the direct speech is in a question, rewrite it as a statement. So you're just giving a statement. You are reporting. I've heard a lot of people saying that give a statement. When you are asked to say give a statement, what is a statement? You're reporting, in other words. So there are no question marks there, no speech marks there involved. So do not include a question mark in your reported speech answer. Always remember these two tips that I've given you: the term changes and no question marks. This is the end of our presentations. If you have any question, please visit my inbox and I'll be happy to help you and be able to pass your exams. I wish you all the best as you're preparing for your exams. Bye bye.